Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Thanks for being with us. I'm glad to be here with you. It's a new day, and it's it's hump day. If you work a regular weekday job, working Monday to Friday, it's Wednesday, so it's the middle of the week, regardless, or if you're in school. And so hump day is half over, and the last half so you're on the home stretch for the week. Anyways, so glad to be with you here this morning. We're on 96.7 FM, CKLU, your campus and community radio station in the greater city of Sudbury. Been around since 1984. Started in a little trailer on Laurentian's campus on the hill. And now we're in the School of Architecture, the McEwen School of Architecture, corner of Elgin and Elm Street is where the studios are, but you don't have to come down to the studio to listen to us because we broadcast thanks to your donations over the airwaves, and that's what basically keeps us on the air. So thank you, all of you who make the donations to keep this station on the air. We run on a shoestring budget, mainly volunteer, and we just need to keep the lights on, keep the equipment. Sometimes it's a little duct taped together. Sometimes we have amazing volunteers who give of their time and allow us to actually sound half decent, and people wouldn't even know behind the scenes, how fragile the infrastructure is. Anyways, so thanks to all the volunteers, all the hosts that make CKLU so great, and all the great shows. So make sure to go to cklu.ca, go on their website. You can see the schedule there, and there's going to be shows that you'd be interested in. All different kinds of music, all different genres. Right after this show is Earshot Daily, something that I'm the show coordinator for. It's a show where we showcase independent artists across Canada, all different genres and types of music, and that's syndicated. Can be picked up from about 110 different radio stations across Canada, but we have local hosts that basically share things that they're passionate about, whether it be music or whether it be different subjects. Check out the schedule. Check us out while you're driving. Just kind of, as you're, there's a commercial on maybe your other favorite radio station, and you're going to just check out what CKLU is doing today. And sometimes you'll be pleasantly surprised. And so not only can you hear us on the radio, you can hear us online at cklu.ca. You just go to that Radio Player Canada app logo, click on that, and you can stream us, or you can download the app on your favorite device, listen to us anytime, anywhere, at your convenience. So thanks for you allowing CKLU to be on the air, all those who are involved, whether giving of your time or your talents or your monetary means to keep us on the air. But also thank CKLU. I'm thanking CKLU for allowing us to be on, just like anyone in the community could have an idea for a show. You can get on here. All you have to do is email the general manager, Rob, with your idea, a bit of a pitch of what kind of radio show you'd like. And if you want to take it to the next level, you can do it like we're doing. And you can just put a camera in front of you while you're on live and stream your show as well. So yeah, good morning, Jerome. Thanks for being with us, man. Just to let everybody know, I'm solo today. It doesn't happen very often, but it's happened today. Just unforeseen circumstances, the way things kind of turn out. So just like Jerome, feel free to comment on any of the subjects. I'll do my best doing the show by myself today to keep up with the comments and have a conversation, regardless if we have a co-host or not. You'll be my co-host today. So thanks for being here. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate all those that have been doing that, and I'm able to kind of see that behind the scenes. We're on Facebook Live, facebook.com/Sudbury News, YouTube Live, youtube.com/Sudbury News. So we're doing our best to get out there, and then as of tomorrow night, you'll be able to go on our website as well and just click on Sudbury News Talk, and it'll be live streamed on the website as well. So we're doing our best to be as robust as possible, get this conversation out to as many people and break down as many barriers as possible, not only technical, but also socially. Because I find if there's conversations about issues and things that are important to us, that we're able to, our lives are more enriched by knowing all the different sides and not just hearing one side kind of constantly pushed at you, or narratives that are just constantly going on, just one side. So anyways, this is a conversation. You're part of it. This is your show. We're just here to facilitate it. So make sure to chime in whenever you feel like it, or whenever you're keeping us on our toes with facts and figures that I get things wrong on a regular basis. So, there you go. Why not start off with a very controversial thing? That's what we do here sometimes. Yeah. So Jerome says John Hopkins reports vaccines 98 times more harmful than COVID-19. And so that's, again, we take anything people are going to say, nothing's kind of, well, I guess there's taboo. If someone's treating somebody, they're bullying someone else, or not being respectful to them, then there's no place for that in a conversation where we want it to be win-win. We want to share our ideas and share facts and things like that, and not have to put people down or just to always be respectful in this arena, if you will. So yeah, so we're gonna be doing the weather. We're gonna do some sports. There's lots of sports going on. I was very surprised. I was like, holy, we almost have an hour-long sports segment this morning, but obviously I'm not going to do a whole hour of sports, but there's enough sports to cover. So I want to be able to get to that as well, the weather. And then some tragedies took place in the city yesterday. I want to talk about those. There's a lot of local news going on. Today's a huge day for Laurentian University. They're going to be voting today on the plan of arrangement. So we lots to cover, and it's a hugely important day. And so I know there's it's Jesse here now. So on my third week, I can confirm what I have. It's super COVID. If you get your vaccination close to getting a cold, the cold will pick up the cells from the virus and start producing them, the cold virus. Cool. Well, just because, that's, and again, I'm not afraid to share the conversation, and you guys are kind of, starting the conversation, which is great, which I'm okay to do and okay to kind of entertain. And it does obviously impact us on a local scale because, these are huge issues today. Is COVID-19's impacted our lives. The pandemic has been a huge impact on our lives for so long, and there's just so much going on out there. But I'm not afraid to have a conversation about it, which I think a lot of people aren't able to do these days. They're just not able to talk about it, and people get all heated about it. So Miles is sharing a website here if anyone wants to check it out, hopkinsmedicine.org. So that might be some of the statistics and stuff that Jerome was talking about. So feel free to check that out. And I guess he's combating that a little bit. So again, we're not afraid to have conversation here, and you guys can do that in the comments. I'm just going to kind of switch gears a bit to the weather, get that underway, get that out of the way, and I'll be back with a little bit of sports. And hey, we might even start off, if you guys are wanting to talk about that today, I have no problem addressing that today, as well as a huge day in news. So thanks for being with us, everyone. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. We'll be back right after this with a little bit of weather. And as promised, here's the weather for y'all, for us all today. I'll get rid of that icon that's in the way of the logo in the bottom there. But currently it's 13 degrees, 89% humidity, cloudy. And today we're going to be still cloudy the entire day. The wind will be north, 20 kilometers, gusting to 40. High today, 14. So not the warmest day in the world, but you know, not the coldest either. So it's getting a little cooler. We're getting into fall, into autumn. So tonight though, clearing, fog patches developing overnight. Wind will be from the north, 20 kilometers, and becoming light this evening. Low +4. So again, it's a high of 14, low of 4. And then Thursday, sunny. Then the increasing cloudiness in the afternoon. So earlier in the week, it looked like Thursday was going to be nice and sunny. However, surprise, surprise, get some more clouds in the forecast. Starting off sunny tomorrow, but then increased cloudiness in the afternoon. Fog patches dissipating in the morning. High of 15, UV index 6 or high. And then the long range forecast, we got, as we said, sunny with clouds rolling in on Thursday, high of 15. Friday, showers, 12. Doesn't say the percentage of precipitation though. So, but in the icon, it's got a little sun there. So not sure how much of a chance of showers and how much rain we can expect. But Saturday, 30% chance of showers and a high of 22. Sunday, showers, high of 23. So it's warming up. So we got a little dip in the temperature for the next couple of days. But then after that, it's warming up a bit more. And we're going to have some warmer weather later on into September. Can you believe it? It is already September the 14th today. Half of September is gone. Where does the time go? I just remember saying half of August was gone and we were coming up to September. And here we are already a month later. Time just seems to be speeding up. I don't know if it's just me or not, but it seems that way. So here's a look at the satellite image, the cloudiness that we have over us, the rain activity near Sudbury. And that's your weather for this morning. We'll be back with a little bit of sports even right after this. And sports, as promised, brought to you by Sudbury Sports. And we're here with, from our Sudbury Sports page, first headline, sports, Greater Sudbury City Council, Council hammers final nail in Ked's coffin. Greater Sudbury City Council sent a message during last night's meeting that whatever incarnation of city council is elected on October 24th, will have to start the process of repairing or replacing the Sudbury Community Arena from square one, albeit with a strong foundation of knowledge. Oh my. I don't even know what to say to that. Yeah, so it's a sad, sad, sad day. And we'll get into more of that in our actual news. This is a sports related story, obviously, the arena, but we're going to get into that later with our regular news headlines and our coverage of the news. And I'll end with this one. So let's just go back to that. The Nickel Capitals, which is Sudbury's AAA under 16 team. Headline, we're really well-rounded. Sudbury Nickel Caps under 16 coaches reveal the roster for 2022-23. The skill was certainly a top priority, but head coach Jordan Chichu sought to check several boxes while assembling the Sudbury Nickel Capitals under 16 AAA squad for this season. So if you want to read more on that, you can go to our Facebook page at Sudbury Sports. So you just go to Facebook and you search Sudbury Sports, and you can find the logo you see right there on the screen. You go there and you'll find the story, or right from the source itself, the Sudbury Star Sports. Here's a really great story coming from Sudbury to do with sports. Rebecca Johnston joins NHL's Calgary Flames as a full-time player development role. And Rebecca Johnston, she's a 3-time gold medalist and one of the most decorated hockey players in Canada. So from Sudbury, congratulations, Rebecca. Well-deserved. And I'm really glad that the NHL these days is taking from that very rich pool of women's hockey and bringing it in and allowing the experience that you've been able to, have over the years and bring it to the NHL, which is hockey's top level of sport. You could make the argument, well, we should have a women's professional league, and we did, and there was going to be 2 of them, and now we're just waiting. So that's a question too. What's going on with women's professional hockey? That story just kind of went off the radar. But yeah. So as for now, a lot of our talent will be absorbed by the NHL and make that an even better league due to that. So here you have the Sudbury Wolves. There's 4 of our Sudbury Wolves going to 4 NHL rookie camps, which I do have the story kind of loaded up here all ready to go. And Sudbury Star Sports reporting that free agent invite Evan Conyon, one of the Wolves' leading scorers in the 2021-22 season, had 50 points, 66 games, was to fly out Tuesday to join the Vancouver Canucks for the Young Stars Classic Prospect Showcase running September 16th, so Friday to the 19th, which is Monday, in Penticton, BC, and also featuring entries from Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. So the NHL drafted Wolves attending camps include defenseman Jacob Holmes, the Dallas Stars' 4th round pick in 2021, as well as forward David Goyette, the Seattle Kraken's 2nd round choice in 2022, and defenseman Nolan Collins, the Pittsburgh Penguins' 6th round selection in 2022. Sudbury had 26 players on its preseason roster as of Tuesday, including 16 forwards, 8 defensemen, and 2 goalies. And the Wolves are now 2-1-0 0-0 in preseason play, having defeated the Peterborough Petes 5-1 this past Saturday. They return to action, the Sudbury Wolves, that is, on September 20th. That's Tuesday, hosting the Barrie Colts before finishing their exhibition schedule on September the 23rd with a home game against the Sioux Greyhounds. Both games begin 7:05, and Sudbury opens their regular season at home September 30th, also against Barrie. Now, this Friday, we'll be going to the Sudbury Arena to have the unveiling of, or the the launching of the new Jumbotron. Very exciting stuff there. So hopefully I'll take a little bit of a video. Maybe I'll have some pictures, whatever we can share on Monday's show as we are getting ready, and I'm getting return emails from the candidates that are running for this next election to come on the show as well. So we're going to be juggling news, weather, sports, and the interviews with all of the mayoral and city candidates for this next election coming up on the show. We're very excited for that. We have a really healthy response from people this time around. Now, I kind of lost where I was here to see your comments, but now I got it back, so that's good. A lot of comments going on while the sports. I don't know if I'll be able to catch up on them all, so my apologies if I'm not able to get to all of your comments. I'll have a quick run through just as the extra of the sports and the intro is coming on of the news, but that's about as much as I could do, but I'll do my best. But hopefully you're able to have a conversation in the comments that is that's informative and educational as we share information about things. I know the topic wasn't the most light starting off this morning. So, and speaking of topic that's not light, is Riley Salamink. It was a young hockey player with a passion for fishing who died tragically at the age of 11 earlier this month in that boating accident on Meteor Lake. Here's a picture of Riley. And the headline is from Sudbury.com. Sticks out for Riley. Yesterday, as Sudbury grieves the boy's death. And so that's a very unfortunate accident that took place. And it took not only a young person from us, but a young athlete as well. And so our condolences again go out to all of those that know Riley and family and friends. And so, unfortunately, not the most uplifting story to end on for our sports segment, but unfortunately, we're going to be beginning our news segment with some of the same. So, a little bit heavy this morning in terms of local news, but we'll be back and we'll do our best to cover it right after this. Okay, and as promised, I said I would do my best to look over all of the comments of people in the chat, but unfortunately, just being the lone person in the studio this morning, not the easiest. We have a bunch of notifications coming in here. I apologize for that. But yeah, it looks like everybody's sharing away here. And yeah, so feel free to continue to do that. I do really apologize for not being able to get on all of the comments, especially while I was doing the sports. And now we're going right into news headlines. I will do my best now as people are commenting. I do believe I saw a couple of good mornings though along the way that I thought I would get here. Yeah, Julia, good morning. Nice to see you. And thanks for being with us. I did notice that you're sharing the broadcast and the page and the video. So thank you very much. Heartfelt thanks to you for doing that. And we're all working together to grow this community, and it is growing. And I really appreciate it. We're usually in the double digits of the live stream. And like I was saying to a coworker the other day, I don't see who's on live. I know a lot of people are reluctant to get on live streams because they think, oh no, they're going to see that I'm there. And a lot of live streamers will right away say, hey, so-and-so, you're there. And a lot of people don't want that. They just want to kind of watch. But I can't see you. I just see that there's a certain amount of people. I don't see who's on. The only time I know specifically if you're on or not is if you're commenting. And that's just the truth. So I can even show you my screen here, how it looks to me. I wish I had, or maybe I will figure out how to do it in the future, is to get, a list of who's on live at the time. But right now I don't have it. And I don't think there's a need to really have that. So comments, condolences for Riley here. And thanks, Miles. I really appreciate that. And I really do appreciate the positive comments that people do make. And not that we don't have our share of suggestions or critique as well, which we do, and we try to incorporate that into the show. But we do really appreciate when people just give us a shout out and positive feedback. Really appreciate that. So thank you very much for that. So speaking of these headlines, the council talking about the nail in the coffin for KED, as councillors now and the new mayor will have to figure out what to do with our arena, what to do with it. It's an old arena, needs a lot of TLC, and what are we going to do with it? And the next thing is, are we going to build a new one? Are we going to keep the old one? But either way, something has to be done with it. So, yeah, that's huge. But one of the comments here, which I do like just sharing comments from the Facebook page as well, Marco says, they're hilarious, as if they think their word will be written in stone if a whole new council and mayor are elected who actually have a real vision to make Sudbury prosper. So yeah, because council is saying, oh, this is what the next council is going to have to deal with. And yes, Miles, the arena is 71 years old. So that definitely, there's issues there. If you just, the sheer number of years that it's been around. Yeah. And then another comment here from Rick saying, pass the buck to a new council. So we covered that story already. So this one we'll be talking a little bit more about as we unpack the Sudbury.com's stories to start the day. They did a really good job just kind of giving us the scoop on this. And it's the Montrose. You remember when they proposed the extension, the Maley extension? And you see how Barrydown has been extended now all the way to Maley. And so that becomes a quicker way to get out of New Sudbury and get to either Garson or the Valley or Coppercliff if you take the LaSalle extension over to Big Nickel Road kind of thing. So it's an outlet for many people to get around that area of the city. Well, they also had plans to extend Montrose Avenue all the way to the Maley extension, which then would make the street very busy. And a lot of the people on that street, if you were living on that street, would you want that street to become a thoroughfare, all the way from LaSalle to Maley and have it be, the busy traffic that it's going to be if it is extended. So obviously, no, you wouldn't want that. And you'd want just to have, traffic to be not as busy and not as fast potentially as it would be. So yeah, that's the issue there. We'll unpack that one a little later on. So one of the comments here saying, and the next speedway is gone. LOL. That was Andrew. Because I don't know if I'll be able to come back to the comments after we go to the story itself later on. But here's an interesting, really great feel-good story from Sudbury. A book put out by a Sudbury publisher in 2021 wins an award. The Undertaking of Billy Buffon won the Berzini Prize in the fiction category. So that's Sudbury.com. You can read more about that. But I just wanted to give a shout out because that's pretty darn awesome. This is a story I just wanted to share. It's not really local, but we do talk about journalism in general here and how the climate of journalism is in Canada. And, a lot of our listeners and people that come on the show and are watching have mentioned to me that mainstream media is not particularly where they turn for information these days, and they feel that it's not as journalistic as it should be, I guess, to put it lightly. And here we have an example of a journalist going out and doing their job in Las Vegas, and the headline is Press Perils. Killing of Las Vegas reporter drives home dangers of modern journalism. And this is something I've had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and I said, this is the way journalism is going. If you really get out there and do your job and you uncover things that people in very powerful positions these days don't want you to cover, your life is in jeopardy. And they said, well, where are you seeing examples of journalists? It's not like journalists are getting killed or anything in Canada. So we still have a really robust journalism industry here. And I said, well, I think there's other ways to silence journalists other than killing them. But I think at the end of the day, if they have to resort to that, if a journalist doesn't give up, I wouldn't disregard the idea that somebody could potentially do that to silence someone if it meant millions, if not billions of dollars. So here, Jeff German, 69-year-old investigative reporter with the Las Vegas Review-Journal, was stabbed to death outside of his home last week, just months removed from his expose of the Clark County Public Administrator's Office. So he dug into the local administration there, local politics, the municipality of Las Vegas, and coincidentally ended up stabbed to death outside of his home. So do you think that had something to do with his reporting? Was that just a, coincidence that this happened just after this story? That's up to you. The story's on Sudbury.com. I'm not going to go too much in it, but I thought I would just at least shed some light on it, that this is the age we do live in. Many reporters don't have to be stabbed to death outside their home. They just have to be fired from their job, or in our modern day terms, canceled, by going back into their history and seeing a party they went to way back when and then canceled. If you're not basically, if you're digging a little too much, let's say. So I just want to stand up for journalism in general, and I wanted to share that and just saying that is a tragedy that happened, and unfortunately for him and for his family, we'll have to, I guess, hopefully, if there's journalists out there who want to investigate the cause of his death, we'll see who is going to stand up with that particular potential end result to find out what happened there, right? So, going to take a lot of people with a lot of integrity coming up in the future to cover news. Ontario, we were talking about in the office yesterday about Justin Trudeau coming out and saying there's going to be a federal holiday on Monday. That was the quickest announcement of a federal holiday I've ever seen. And then right away, we were like, oh, does that mean everyone's going to get a holiday? And right away the province came out and said, no. We're going to mourn. And we encourage and invite everyone. I think it's at 1:00 or something during the day to take some time to mourn the Queen's death, but it's not going to be a holiday. Just for federal employees and banks, people like that. It's going to be a holiday on Monday. I wonder if all of them are going to be in a state of mourning on their day off. It's funny. So Jesse, who often, you'll see his comments in our comments today, says on the Facebook page that Doug Ford is worrying about shutting down for a day because of his investment portfolio might take a hit. His greed's definitely showing. So yeah, if you comment on our Facebook page, we'll be more than happy to share your comments as well. This was an interesting one. There's a double murderer residing in Sudbury in a halfway house and has been granted permission to spend 4 nights per week in an apartment he's rented in the community. And that's, I don't know, when I read a headline like that, it's, I don't know, I'm a bit, I want to know more, obviously, about that. So George Lavoie, who's now 64, was sentenced to life in prison for the 1991 slaying of his ex-girlfriend's parents in the Hamilton area. Arnold and Donna Edwards, who just happened to be parents of former NHL netminder Don Edwards. I remember him playing for, I believe, the Minnesota North Stars back before they moved to Dallas. And had been trying to protect their daughter, Michelle, at the home. So I guess they had a dispute, him and his girlfriend, and came into the home, and the parents were trying to protect their daughter, and he ended up killing them. 5 weeks earlier, Lavoie had been arrested for allegedly raping Michelle at knife point, but he was released on bail. And that charge was never prosecuted. Oh, wow. Well, my journalism senses, spidey journalism senses are tingling right now. And wow, that's just huge. So I guess, here's a quote here from the Parole Board of Canada in a summary of the incident. In March 1991, your ex-girlfriend noticed you hiding under the porch with a rifle and fled to her parents' home across the street. You followed her there, broke into their home, and shot her mother. And then your girlfriend managed to take the rifle from you, and it jammed, and then you stabbed her father. She fled, and you followed her again and shot at her house and car before fleeing in a neighbor's car. So, wow, that's interesting. So it was 1991. How many years has gone by since 1991? So that's 30 years, right? 30 some years. So I guess that is a life sentence. Just for those that may not be aware, life doesn't mean your whole life in prison. Now, this person is in Sudbury now, George Lavoie. So just for your information, I don't know what one would do with that type of information, but kind of scary for sure. All right. So also, we know that today is a huge, huge, huge day for Laurentian University, as they are going to be voting on the plan of arrangement as they're going through insolvency. Laurentian debt plan goes to a vote today. Board chair optimistic it'll pass, while a group of terminated professors continue to urge a no vote even after last minute changes to the plan of arrangement. So that brings us to digging deeper. Sudbury.com has a very, very great feature where they unpack some of yesterday's or even breaking news of today in the morning stories just to start your day. And today, my goodness, it's a power-packed day of stories. Can't believe it. So no matter what, or no matter how you look at it, no matter what the outcome, today, September 14th, will be a pivotal day in Laurentian University's 62-year history in this community. Wow, it's almost as old as the Sudbury Arena. On September 14th, Laurentian's creditors will attend a virtual meeting to vote on the quote, unquote, plan of arrangement. Laurentian has been undergoing court-supervised restructuring since declaring insolvency in February of 2021 and filing for creditor protection under Companies Creditors Arrangement Act, or the CCAA. A plan of arrangement is essentially a plan put forward by an insolvent organization to pay out its creditors. And it must be approved by those creditors. Provided the plan of arrangement is approved by the majority and a number of affected creditors present at the meeting, representing at least 2/3 of the total dollar value of proven claims. I think the Royal Bank alone almost reaches that. They're almost half of the money. The university expects to go back to court to finally exit the CCAA creditor protection on October the 5th. Now, if the plan is rejected, Laurentian said in a circular to its creditors last month, the most likely outcome would be liquidation. Ay, 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 ay. So, I guess the chips will fall where they may today, September 14th. Stay tuned. I guess tomorrow that'll be our top story of how that plan was voted on and what that means going forward. But this is a tragic story yesterday, shortly after or during the broadcast. I believe it was Jesse who came on and said basically breaking that the radar road was closed at a certain point, and we didn't have any information on it. And then the broadcast ended, and then right after that, the news came out that it was a fatal crash, or during the broadcast, late in the broadcast. So 2 people actually died yesterday in fatal crashes, 2 separate fatal crashes. A 42-year-old man was killed in a head-on collision on Radar Road in the morning, shortly before 5:55 a.m. Officers were dispatched to a serious collision involving 2 vehicles on Radar Road. Information provided was that 2 vehicles had been involved in a head-on collision, leaving both drivers trapped inside their vehicles. Both drivers were the lone occupants in their vehicles. With the assistance of City of Greater Sudbury Fire Services, the drivers were removed from their respective vehicles, but unfortunately one of the drivers, a 42-year-old man, was pronounced deceased on the scene. The second driver, a 54-year-old man, was transported to hospital by City of Greater Sudbury Paramedic Services with serious but not life-threatening injuries. And then in a separate incident, basically 2 hours later, a 22-year-old woman also died after an early morning collision, which she and another pedestrian were struck by a vehicle in New Sudbury. Shortly after 7:35 a.m., Greater Sudbury police officers were dispatched to a serious collision involving 2 pedestrians at the intersection of LaSalle Boulevard and Barrydown Road. Upon arrival, the officers located the 2 pedestrians, a 22-year-old woman and a 31-year-old man who had sustained serious injuries as a result of the collision. Both individuals were transported to the hospital. Unfortunately, the woman was pronounced deceased at the hospital by medical professionals. The man remains in serious condition in the hospital, and the woman's name will not be released out of respect for her family's wishes. Greater Sudbury Police extended condolences to her family and friends, and we do as well to both of those individuals' families and friends of yesterday's fatal accidents on Radar Road and on Barry down in LaSalle. The 34-year-old man driving the vehicle involved in the collision in New Sudbury has been charged with dangerous operation of a motor vehicle. So yeah, very, very, very tragic. Unfortunate. It's not every day, that it was weird. Yesterday was just an interesting day, beginning with Monday, just kind of like a dark cloud or something. And literally there was dark clouds over us as well, unfortunately, but just something felt ominous, and unfortunately, tragedy. So we talked about this. So Montrose Avenue, the extension going to Maley Drive, traffic concerns being addressed in official plan. So whenever Montrose Avenue finally connects with Maley Drive, the city is now expected to take steps to ensure it doesn't become a thoroughfare like Barrydown Road or Municipal Road 80. This is in accordance with a motion Ward 12 Jocelyn Laundrie Altman put forward during Monday's Planning Committee meeting, which passed unanimously. The, quote, slight bends that would be 50 meters in length compared to a direct connection, unquote, proposed in the official plan for Montrose Avenue's northward expansion to Maley Drive were not adequate, Landry Altman told her colleagues during the meeting. She also said the residents felt that just having 50 meters where you have a slight bend that fits into an easement is not sufficient and does not meet the spirit that was presented in 2016 when they were proposing the project. The direction City Council provided in 2016, according to her motion's preamble, was for changes to Montrose Avenue to maintain and protect the residential character of the neighborhood, including appropriate lane widths, identify traffic calming measures, including meandering, sidewalks, bicycle infrastructure, street trees, and street lighting, and which will encourage local traffic use instead of, hey, here's a shortcut and I need to get to work and I'm going to go 100 kilometers an hour down Montrose. In the motion passed Monday, the official plan will be amended to include a meandering design on the Montrose Avenue expansion with more pronounced bends to achieve greater reductions to the traffic volumes and speeding on Montrose. Local traffic and potential heavy traffic, truck traffic that is, to be more in line with the direction provided by council. So if you want to read more on that, and that's something that interests you, or if you do in fact live on Montrose, which that would be a subject of interest, you can check more about that on Sudbury.com. You can read the full story. So yeah, like we talked about, the Queen's funeral going to be marked a federal holiday. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said the federal holiday is to mourn the Queen on the day of her state funeral in London. Speaking to a caucus retreat in New Brunswick, Trudeau said declaring an opportunity for Canadians to mourn on Monday is going to be important. He says the government will be working with provinces and territories to ensure that they are aligned, quote unquote. Monday will be a holiday for federal employees and those in federally regulated industries, but it'll be up to provincial and territorial governments to declare the holiday for remaining workers. Trudeau also says that he and opposition leaders' offices are working on a final list for the delegation that will attend the funeral in person. Commemoration ceremonies will also be held in Canada, including a parade, a flypast, and a church service in Ottawa that will be televised nationally. And as already reported, there is no holiday other than, as far as we know, than for federal employees or federally regulated industries. The province of Ontario will be encouraged to mourn, and more specifically, I believe, at 1 p.m. Other than that, no official holiday. So here, a sport-related story, which I should have and could have shared during our sports segment this morning. The Hall of Fame for Sudbury-born 2000s varsity soccer star. Never in the history of St. Joseph's University women's soccer program had the Hawks qualified for Atlantic 10 Conference postseason play. at least not prior to the arrival of Sudbury sensation Megan Shute, or Shutt, depending on how you pronounce that. I know family that pronounce their name Shute. In the fall of 2003, nearly 20 years after posting the second highest single season goals and points totals, 11 goals and 27 points in program history, earning All-Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Year and first-time All-Star accolades in the process, the graduate of Lockerbie Composite has been named one of 7 women being inducted to the St. Joseph Athletic Hall of Fame, having spent basically all of her post-university life south of the border, living primarily in New York City and just recently moving to Florida. Megan Shute, now Taylor, enjoys far better understanding of the lay of the land than when she first arrived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, some two decades ago. She said the biggest thing that stands out for her personally was getting that All-American honor in her freshman year. And so she is the mother of one child, and she's expecting another one very shortly in November. She also said, I didn't even know what that was, which a lot of, I guess sports is a huger, that's a word, thing in the United States than it is here, especially varsity sports. Like college football, give me a break. If our CFL games were able to draw as much as college football did in the States, we would have, huge stadiums. And so it's a big thing. Even high school sports. High school football draws more than some CFL football games. And it's a huge deal. Even if you're in the band in the United States, if you're in the band that plays during halftime or you're a cheerleader, that is huge. Huge stuff. So, for having that, All-American honor in her freshman year, she realized that after that, I'm sure, it's basically like celebrity status. I'm Canadian, not American. I'm remembering thinking, if I was initially slightly out of, or if she was initially slight of her element in making the move from Northern Ontario to the 5th largest city in the entire United States, Shute was completely comfortable on the pitch, right from the outset, finishing as 3rd leading soccer in the program history by the time she graduated in 2007. So congratulations for that amazing being inducted to the Hall of Fame, Megan, and having that kind of a record coming from Northern Ontario. Here's an interesting story. There's a local entrepreneur, has a company called Cover Gals. I believe it was featured on the Dragon's Den at some point. Cover Gals became a trailblazer in women's industrial and mining workwear when the company launched its women's coveralls in 2014. This past August, it continued that trailblazing spirit by launching its high-visibility long-sleeve shirt made by recycled plastic. But unlike most of its past products that were born directly from the industry, CoverGal's latest safety shirt came in collaboration with Science North in Sudbury. CoverGal's CEO Alicia Woods said that Science North approached her to talk about it, updating their famous blue coat, which I did hear is actually famous. The Science North scientists or whatever, the presenters, they wear those blue coats. Well, they're known throughout the world as the blue coats. Go figure. So the famous Science North blue coat worn by staff is distinctive lab coat that's become a symbol of the Science Center. When I heard about waste to wear, I immediately thought, wow, Science North would be the perfect partner to start this journey with waste to wear. Originally, the plan was simply to create a lighter blue coat that wasn't so hot to wear, Woods said, but the waste to wear also offered added bonus of being more environmentally friendly. The fabric is made from recycled plastic, reducing the amount of new materials needed to produce. Further, according to Waste to Wear, the manufacturing process reduces energy needed to produce by 70%. carbon emissions by 70%, 75%, and water use by 86%. Woods decided to try the new material with one of their top-selling workwear items, the high-visibility shirt. She said that at first she was weary to tinker with a good thing, but it looks like it ended up being a very positive thing. And you know what's also a positive thing? The fact that we made it through today. Solo. You know what's not so positive though? I wasn't able to get to a lot of your comments in the comment section. So I really hope that a lot of you who were commenting or watching were able to get more out of the show by viewing the comments and commenting yourself. So I really do appreciate that. And I really do appreciate your understanding that, especially when I'm covering the show on my own, that it's not that easy to do. So thank you very much for doing that. Pay attention to the comments. And so this is for everybody out there being part of the show, making it what it is. Thanks for being with us today. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing. And we'll get through the news the same way we always do, hopefully tomorrow with a guest on. And we'll be coming at you live from the studio. Yes, thank you too. And we'll might have a guest on. I don't know yet. Might be interviewing somebody who's running for council or mayor. But that will be coming up in the next couple weeks. So we appreciate them for coming on the show. And we appreciate you for listening and watching. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU. And we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow with more Sudbury News Talk. Have a great one, everyone. And ciao. Stay safe.